All right. Let's move on to Brian Tyler Cohen here, who is, if you guys don't know, Brian came on. LB knows about this. Brian came on and gave me a comment on one of the videos that I had where I reacted to it, and he said, "Thank you for featuring me." That means so much to me. A man that has 2.19 million subscribers came on my channel that had maybe 6 comments total and said, "Thank you for featuring me." These are good people. This isn't Tucker Carlson. This isn't Jesse Waters. This is Brian Tyler Cohen, who goes on a dude's channel that has 2.6K subscribers and says, "Thanks for featuring me." It's a good dude.
Crimes, but it's not often you see him do it so blatantly as this. Trump had taken to Truth Social today, writing, "I'm reading reports that failed former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan, will be testifying before the Fulton County grand jury. He shouldn't. I barely know him, but he was, right from the..."
You have to give Brian here some credit too, trying to read a Trump tweet. Like, it's hard to read a Trump tweet, dude. Like, he does not exactly, conform to the rules of grammar.
The beginning of this witch hunt, a nasty disaster for those looking into the election fraud that took place in Georgia. He refused having a special session to find out what went on, became very unpopular with Republicans, I refused to endorse him, and fought the truth all the way. A loser, he went to FNCNN.
Let's just look at how many words are in here that Trump likes to use over and over again. Failed former, so he loves to say this person was bad at their job. So failed former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia. Let's see, it was right from the beginning. Witch hunt, we got witch hunt in there. Nasty, he loves to use the word the nasty in there. Election fraud. Very unpopular, loves to say that, loves to demean. I refuse to endorse him. Yeah, is a loser. It's like AI could be making these tweets. I shit you not. AI could 100% recreate Donald Trump's tweets, just not his grammar. I think that's beyond the capabilities of AI. It'd break AI, just like the lack of grammar.
Now let's not waste any time in calling this out for exactly what it is: witness tampering and obstruction of justice.
100%.
Trump states in his own post that he knows Jeff Duncan will be testifying, thereby making it crystal clear that he is aware he is a witness. And then he goes on to state that he shouldn't testify, meaning that there is no ambiguity here. Donald Trump broke the law by tampering with a witness. Jeff Duncan himself was asked for his response to the intimidation efforts by Trump, and this is what he had to say.
Jeff, I want to start with you and get your reaction to that social media post by Donald Trump. He's insulting you and calling you out. Do you believe he's trying to intimidate you as a witness?
Well, this close into my testimony, which is going to be tomorrow, I'm going to refrain from any comment, with the exception of saying, which was just pointed out, he did misspell my name.
And how about what you are anticipating you'll be asked about tomorrow? If you won't comment on what Trump said, can you at least give us an idea of what you're anticipating?
Well, I'm just going to answer the questions as presented to me, much like I did in the special grand jury. Whatever the questions are, to the best of my ability, I'm going to answer the questions. And, this is an important part of the healing process for the Republican Party. This is painful. This may feel ugly to some, but this is part of this process.
That is actually so true. So true, because I've said it about 1 million times now, and that is that the Republican Conservative Party has splintered into 1 million pieces, and they are so fractured, and they infight so much right now that they really should be taking this opportunity to step away from Donald Trump and really start to kind of solidify being Republicans again. I don't have a lot of Republican values. Fiscally, I have some things that I kind of agree here and there with them on. But what I do think is that they do make up 50% of America, and I don't want to see 50% of America having a fucking mental breakdown. So get your shit together, and let's get this back on track. Let's see what the comments got to say. He makes random words in all caps. The random words in all caps thing just cracks me up. And you actually see his supporters do it too. They either go full caps like he does, or they'll just like randomly capitalize or just all caps words that I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Stated by Jack the A-10 Warthog Smith on page 2 of the indictment's First Amendment. Brian wants to see others win, unlike that mook who hates anyone else winning. And I don't even think it's just one of them, James. It seems as though people that support him as well are the type of people, they don't want to see other people winning. They don't want to see other people doing good. They are fire and brimstone and scorched earth tactics. They would rather burn America down than see Donald Trump get held accountable for his crimes. That's insanity for me. Like, we live in one of the greatest countries in the world, and you're going to do it for that doofus? That's who you chose to burn down everything you love for? Was Donald Trump? You almost couldn't have picked a worse person. Brian also has his videos translated in Spanish. I recommend it. The boost will help get those videos out there. Yeah. Anything and everything to make Brian's stuff go out there even better. If you speak Spanish, I failed Spanish about 4 times. Muy poquito.
That's right. We've got to put these facts and figures and details and reality on display for America, specifically for Republicans to see what reality really is. And, you know, the social media game that Donald Trump has played over the years, it's shallow, right? You don't have to be any more than a few hundred characters worth of information with no facts behind it, with no details to stir the crowd. And that's certainly been his game for a number of years, and it looks like it's continuing.
And if you're wondering why Jeff Duncan refused to elaborate on Trump's efforts to intimidate him, maybe, just maybe, it's because those efforts worked. Think about why Jeff Duncan might be just a tad reticent to speak out against Trump, who just attacked him in broad daylight. In a way, Duncan's refusal to condemn Trump or even say anything in response to his tampering is a testament to just how dangerous that tampering is.
That's a good take. That's a solid take, Brian. Because let me tell you, that's not what I thought. That's not what I thought, but that was a solid take right there. And what he said, to elaborate a little bit on what the lieutenant governor, ex-lieutenant governor said there about social media and how like basic this shit is why it's so frustrating. Because when you see somebody come out with as little skill as Donald Trump is, and he just manipulates the shit out of so many people, it's actually incredibly sad to see. Because once again, like I said about the tampering with the government and keeping his place in the... I don't want to believe that it exists in America. I want to think the best of Americans. I want to think that everybody is capable of seeing through the complete and utter bullshit that Donald Trump is spewing on a daily basis on platforms like Twitter and Truth Social. And people fall for it. And that is really sad, actually. It really is upsetting, and it is very sad.
And let's be clear, this could and absolutely should serve as a basis for a new charge. There is no reason that we shouldn't see a charge added in the Fulton County indictment where Jeff Duncan is testifying, but also in the federal case in Washington, D.C., being overseen by Judge Chutkan. Remember, when Donald Trump showed up for his arraignment, a magistrate judge discussed with him his terms of release. Here's her exact quote. "It is important to comply with the conditions of release," the judge says. "If you fail to comply, a warrant may be issued for your arrest, and you may be held before trial. Your most important condition of release is that you not commit a state, federal, or local offense. If so, your release may be revoked. You may also face a longer sentence for having committed a crime while on release. I will next..."
Dude, he has to like be told, don't commit any more crimes, dude. I mean, to be fair, when you have 91 felonies, everybody you talk to is probably like, stop committing crimes, okay? When you have 91 felonies, holy shit, I vandalized some shit when I was a kid, and I had a probation officer like that. 91 felonies? How the... do you get to walk around with 91 felonies? This is absolutely mind-blowing. They're like, just don't do any more. 91 is as many felonies as we'd like you to commit for now. Already subscribed and on day 156 of your Spanish lessons. Good job, James. I might need you to teach me, dude.
Set a court date, that you not commit a state, federal, or local offense. To be clear, witness tampering is a violation of Georgia state law. So even though this is a crime committed in Georgia, it can still serve as a predicate for Trump to...
And what will they do? They'll let him get away with it. This is why when people cry about a two-tier justice system, they're full of shit. If there's a two-tier justice system, it's one for people like Trump and one for people like me and you. Because if me and you had 91 felonies, we wouldn't be fucking walking around. If me or you were to do something like tamper with a witness after being expressly told that we're not supposed to commit any more crimes to add to our 91 felonies, we would all be in jail, or we would have another fucking charge added on to what we did. No fucking shot at all. Hey, what's happening, Golf? Exactly. The most disappointing thing is that my fellow countrymen can't spot a con. Like, that makes me so sad. I thought so much more of these people, and I know it's been tough times. Somebody said it in a video comment the other day that it goes back to 9/11 for them. In their generation, it seems like 9/11 was the turning point at which everybody started to just kind of become more and more paranoid and more afraid and scared. And they started to like tighten up on who they liked and who they didn't. And as crazy as this sounds, I actually think that 9/11, even though it really brought us together for a small period of time, in the long run actually pushed us further and further apart because it made us scared of a lot of things. It made us scared of going back to a place where we could be harmed again. And I think that certain con men, like Donald Trump, because he's a con man, are taking advantage of that. I think certain people in the red pill community are taking advantage of that. I think that certain people in our Senate are taking advantage of that. And it's about time that we stop dealing with these people's bullshit and stop accepting it just because we don't want to vote against our own party. It's time to fuck that. It's time to step out and say, nah, let's do something about this.
To be remanded to custody in his federal trial, given that the most important condition of release is that he not commit a different crime, which he very clearly did. And by the way, this was a point reiterated by MSNBC's Andrew Weissman.
And then the final point, Nicole, which may sound a little out of left field, is bail. Now, we have seen the former president get bail in Manhattan, in Florida, and in D.C. We have also seen the former president continue to make statements that, at least arguably, are obstruction of justice or intimidating witnesses. Why is that important? Because in Georgia, the statute that may apply here, depending on what is charged, is one where the presumption is one that the defendant has the burden of rebutting. In other words, it's on the defendant to show that he will not commit crimes, that he's not at risk of flight. And let me just give you the exact words, because this is the provision that the court has to find to release somebody on bail in Georgia, which is that the defendant poses no risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. That poses no risk of intimidating witnesses. To me, that is going to be, for a judge who is going to treat Donald Trump or anyone else like any other defendant, that could be a problem, because just today we saw...
He can't not intimidate witnesses. It's like he's like got Tourette syndrome for intimidating witnesses. Like, this man should have had his phone taken away from him like 6 years ago. Like, they should just put his ass in jail and hold him there without his phone. It's for his own good.
A continuation of the attacks on the D.C. federal judge, and even Truth Social saying that Jeff Duncan, the former lieutenant governor, should not comply with a grand jury subpoena in Georgia. You can't tell a witness not to comply with a grand jury subpoena unless there's some legal ability to do that. But that's not what the former president did. So it'll be interesting to see how the judge deals with bail as we go forward.
So at this point, the onus is on both the prosecutors in Fulton County, Georgia, to show that they're taking this crime seriously, because if Trump is not hit with a charge, there is zero doubt in my mind that he'll commit this crime again. And it's also on the judge in Washington, D.C. to stand by the court's earlier comments about the conditions of Trump's release. If they're going to make his release conditional upon his ability to comply with the terms, then when he breaks those terms, the court has to be prepared to actually hold him to account for it. Again, no one forced the court to set those conditions for his release, but because they already did, now they should be prepared to make good on their promise. Donald Trump should be...
Dude, my man Brian is killing it. Like, somebody get Brian in the courtroom, because everything this man is saying right now makes complete and total sense. This does not seem like there is any shaky ground here. This seems like he's got a pretty solid case.
Be remanded to custody, and if that happens, the court should make clear that it was based on his conscious decision to commit more crimes. And that's a point that was drilled down by my Legal Breakdown co-host, Glenn Kirshner.
Yeah, you know, it's like if you threaten punishment for your child when your child does wrong and you don't follow through on the punishment, the lesson you're teaching your child is...
Dude, there has never been a more legitimate analogy than comparing Donald Trump to a bad child that just won't listen to his parents. Oh, that is, dude, that's a hunter right there.
You can go ahead and keep doing wrong with impunity because these threats are hollow. I think at this point, the system has to step up, has to assert the rule of law if Donald Trump, is to be deterred at all. And not only Donald Trump, but if other defendants who are on pretrial release are to be deterred, are to feel like, it's really important to abide by the conditions of release set by the judge when I'm in this pretrial release status. I mean, Donald Trump is really testing the bounds of the rule of law in America, both federal and state. And let's hope that the judges begin to make good on their promises that if you violate the conditions I have set for you, there will be hell to pay.
And by the way, this isn't just about holding Trump accountable for his actions for the sake of consistency. There is a very clear rationale as to why the court must not allow Trump to be out in public if he refuses to abide by the terms of his release, if he refuses to not intimidate witnesses and impugn a judge and issue inflammatory statements about the case. What he's trying to do is taint the jury pool by issuing these claims. The court has a right to a jury pool that hasn't been influenced by Donald Trump's lies, and the court also has the right to curtail a pretrial defendant's free speech rights in service of protecting that jury pool and the integrity of the trial. That is how it works in this country, and that's how it's always worked. So if it becomes clear that the integrity of this case will be harmed by Trump's continued ability to speak freely or to walk freely, then it is absolutely 100% within the court's rights to revoke his bail and remand him to custody. So now we'll wait and see what happens.
And they should. And 100% they should, because I'm going to say it one more time. If that's me or you, we wouldn't be getting this treatment. There is seriously a two-tier justice system, but it is not Donald Trump and other politicians. It is Donald Trump and the ordinary, average, everyday American.
Both Georgia and in Washington, D.C., but at this point, it's clear that both the prosecutors and the judges have what they need to put him in a jail cell pending trial. And while Trump may actually prefer it, considering there's nothing he loves more than playing the victim card, something tells me that swing voters aren't exactly going to be over the moon casting their ballots for a guy currently sitting in prison awaiting trial for not one, not two, not three, but 4 criminal indictments facing likely 100 charges. Trump said he wanted to be the law and order candidate. Now he gets to actually prove it. Before you go, I need...
Brian Cohen is killing it. Once again, thanks, sweet baby Jesus, for Brian Cohen, for the Beau of the Fifth. These are people, Kyle Kalinske. Imagine a world without these guys doing what they do. Imagine a world where all you got is Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you liked it, hit that like and subscribe. If you'd like to join the Ginger Army and help support me for only $3 a month, you get to support a soulless ginger. You also get access to the Tantrum Trump and Prison Trump emojis. And don't forget to join me every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific for a live stream with yours truly. Thanks a lot, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Stay safe out there.